morning, Rochester. You're listening to Outside the Echo Chamber on Rochester Free Radio, WRFZ 106.3 FM. It's the Liberty Talk Hour with Kevin Wilson.
And Sean Phelan.
Yeah, so good morning on this bright, crisp, sunny Saturday day. So, what we were talking about before the show came on is who's going to win in the inevitable fight between Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
I think they should just have like a pay-per-view thing where, like all the proceeds gets donated to some like special needs group or something,
Yeah, right? No, I'd watch that. I'd pay for that.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, who haven't seen the latest bit of infotainment that's come out this week.
Infotainment.
One of the rare bits of fun news that's come out this week is Joe Biden gave this speech where he said that he beats up guys like Trump. Like he takes them out back and he beats them up, right? So he's just being crazy Uncle Joe, as he does, becoming the stereotype that the Onion's made him. If you've ever read the Onion articles about Joe Biden, they're fantastic. And then Donald Trump.
The Onion is satirical, so it's not factual.
Yeah, it's not factual, but it's funny the way they portrayed Joe Biden. And then Donald Trump, that's U.S. President Donald Trump, says, "Crazy Joe Biden is trying to act like a tough guy. Actually, he is weak, both mentally and physically. And yet he threatens me for the second time with physical assault. He doesn't know me, but he would go down fast and hard, crying all the way. Don't threaten people, Joe."
Says the man who probably has never been in a fist fight in his life.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Probably not. I have no idea. But either way, I'm glad to see our U.S. president and our leaders making America great again by fighting in office.
All we need is Congress to start having one of those big fist fights.
Yeah, fist fights. Yeah. Well, I mean, Andrew Jackson made fighting a ritual in the White House. He'd fight anyone who looked at him funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hit him with the cane too.
Yeah, that's right. No, he'd beat him down. Yeah. One guy tried to shoot him with a pistol, beat the tar out of him.
Yeah. I heard some kid came up to him and wanted to ask him something. He smacked the kid with the cane.
That sounds like old Hickory.
Walked away.
See, yeah. That's how Trump's making America great again. Just
get away from me, kid! You bother me.
Yeah, just as the founders intended.
Yeah, right?
As long as it doesn't get the pistol duels.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Oh,
yeah, just remember we do have a moment in history where we had the Vice President of the United States, Aaron Burr, shoot Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine getting Schumer and Trump at it? Talk about a win-win. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think it'll come to that. I think it'll be just a stupid Twitter war that we'll all just facepalm over.
You're right. And now let's take a moment to talk about the NAP for the libertarian perspective. The non-aggression principle, of course, is what I'm speaking about. We do not start fights, but we will have no problem finishing one.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't start none, won't be none.
Right, exactly. So for those of you that think the Libertarian Party is pacifism, it is not. It's about not being an a-hole and not being aggressive and not, trying to enforce your will upon somebody else, whether physically or whatever method,
Yeah, and that includes, as a private citizen or as the government, too. You don't hurt no one. You don't take their stuff. You're not going to have a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we could only apply that to our foreign policy.
Yeah, that'd be great. Good luck with that. It's not happening. Yeah.
Not unless we get people elected.
No. Yeah, we need to change that. But hey,
you know where it starts?
Yeah,
it starts right here. It starts today. It starts at Romig's Tavern up on Dewey Avenue up there, just north of Kodak on the Ridge up there. Yeah. And it starts at 12 noon with a Libertarian Convention for Monroe County.
Libertarian Convention in Monroe County. Yep, that's so the local Libertarian Party, Libertarian Party of Monroe County is hosting.
You talk about it like it's third person.
Yeah,
you're the chairman.
Yeah, So I am involved. Like full disclosure, we're both involved with the party, but it is generally really important to get involved with third parties and with your political party in general, because that's how the decision making process starts in government. And And if we really want to start changing government, if we really want to start allowing people the freedom to pursue happiness on their own terms, if we really want to start, kind of getting rid of some of the messes we have at every level, and it's not just the federal government. We complain about that a lot because it's in the news and it's topical. Yeah. But at the state level, the local level, and I'm not talking about the city either. No, the towns. Like a lot of these town races, a lot of these like local board things. They're uncontested races. Mm-hmm. In the city, it's mostly just Democrats unchallenged, and in the suburbs, it's for the most part Republicans unchallenged, except for Brighton, Pittsford, and now apparently Henrietta.
Talk about anyway. That's a pretty corrupt area, I've heard.
Henrietta.
Oh yeah.
Well, everything switched up because they got Steve in there, and they got the two other guys. Mm-hmm. So they kicked out the Republicans, but it is important to get involved in third party, and I want to talk about just for a few minutes why being part of a third party is worth it, because you're gonna hear a lot of people say, well, if you vote for third party, it's a wasted vote. Nope.
And I'm not gonna vote for third party because third party can't win.
You can't win. Right.
If that isn't like a causality loop that you just put yourself in, they're not gonna win because I won't vote for them, because they're not gonna win because I won't vote for them.
Yeah, you end up with a bit of circular logic.
Yeah, it's like you have to break the logic chain there, the illogical chain, and say, you know what, we've been getting offered the R, we've been getting offered the D, and we've been getting screwed over because they're putting crap candidates out there. If you were to just turn around out there and you were to vote libertarian candidates, or even Green Party candidates, any third party candidate, and just take your vote and say, you know what, I've got one thing left that you haven't taken from me, and that's my right to vote. And I'm going to take my vote, and I'm going to say choice A and B are no longer acceptable choices. I'm going to go with choice C.
Yeah.
And it really sends a message to them.
No, and it starts there, right? It starts with just saying, no, I'm not going to vote for the lesser of two evils anymore. I'm not going
to get evil.
Yeah, well, right. And, I'm not going to vote for someone just because they're part of my tribe. Don't get caught in this, like, duopoly, tribalist mindset of just getting caught in, like, oh, well, I'm on team blue or I'm on team red.
Us versus them.
Yeah, us versus them. Well, I've got to stop them. I mean, that's what I felt like the 2016 election was all about. We were trying to break free of that. But that's because voting there does send a strong message. Now, because we're an educational show, I'm gonna drop an academic term called Duverger's law.
Ooh.
Duverger's law, yes. So what...
Do we have to bleep that, or is that on radio?
So what that is it's a political science term that says in first past the post political systems, so where plurality rules... You're looking at me like...
What?
Yeah, okay.
Where?
So in political systems where whoever gets the most votes wins, which is what we have. Right. We don't need a majority to win, just plurality. Those systems tend towards two-party systems, right? Yeah. And so when political science people talk about, oh yeah, we're always going to have a two-party system, that's why they say that. But it says tend towards two-party systems because three parties are unstable in that situation. So what that means is that for third parties like the Libertarians, like the Greens, like whatever other third parties are out there right now, that means that it's hard for them to win initially, and they either have to knock out one of the two major parties or they get one of the major parties to co-opt their platform. Mm-hmm. And that's what voting for third parties does, is that it sends a signal to the Republicans or the Democrats, whoever you're trying to get the attention of, maybe both. And it says, oh, if you don't start adopting our issues and meeting our demands and fixing problems in our communities, then we're going to go elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Now, there's an opportunity for them to fix that. They can say, okay, well, we'll adopt platform parts A, B, and C, and we'll see how that goes, and maybe they'll bring back some support.
Well, it's like Cuomo. Cuomo's talking about legalizing marijuana, something that the Libertarian Party has been talking about since day one.
Exactly.
Like, and now suddenly he's jumping on to try to steal that libertarian movement.
No, yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing, is that when there starts to become enough pressure on these things that, like, marijuana 15 years ago was a fringe idea, legalizing marijuana. It was absolutely a fringe idea.
Yeah, you were a kook if you thought that would ever happen in your lifetime.
Yeah, and that's something that's been pushed by the libertarians and a few other parties too. And now that's starting to get adopted into the mainstream because there's been enough pressure, there's been enough education about that issue to start to flip it in the other direction. And so now Andrew Cuomo is under that pressure, starting to implement that issue into actual policy. Maybe. Well, he's doing a study right now. We'll see what he's doing.
With the way some of these politicians are, especially Democrats, Republicans. I mean, if the Green Party, if the Green Party started, putting a green dot on their foreheads to, signify that, something that they're doing with the Green Party or something, it would be a matter of time before you'd start seeing Democrats putting, blue dots on their heads and Republicans putting red dots on their heads just to steal the movement. They're that low that they can't come up with their own movements, that they have to try to steal.
Movements are co-opted all the time. I was there when the Tea Party movement started, and I know I'm sure you got feelings about that, but in 2010
I was with the Tea Party at the beginning before they got hijacked.
Yeah, and what happened is, I went to the rally in April 2010, Tax Day 2010, and it was all about lowering the debt and not spending us into oblivion, and it stayed focused on those like fiscal conservative issues initially, and it didn't take long. It took like 2 years for it to get fully co-opted. Like all these grassroots groups, like I was actually working for the Koch brothers for a while. Oh yeah, but I was working for one of their funded organizations as a field operative.
You stay on that side of the room. I'll stay on this side of the room.
But like I could see like how these groups would get co-opted, not necessarily by them, like the group that I was working for, but mostly by like GOP operatives. How they would get driven into either just focusing on social issues. Like now you get a lot of the Tea Party groups, they're like, oh yeah, our single issue is abortion. I'm like, wait, you guys started out as like only caring about the debt, and now you don't care about that at all. You're just like, oh, well, we'll just vote for pro-life candidates. Okay, well, your group name's taxed enough already. And but I mean, and that's one example, but a lot of them just ended up getting funneled into supporting GOP candidates who are not good on the debt, and the GOP just kept saying, oh, support us, and if we get the House, then we'll start lowering the debt. If you give us the Senate, we'll start getting this spending under control. Well, I know we have control of both houses of Congress now, but if we just get the presidency, we can start getting this spending under control. Gosh darn it, it's all Obama's fault that we're spending so much money.
And then look what happened this week.
Yeah, and this week we are just piling it on. And
I mean, with the way this whole omnibus was taken, and that this was this $1.3 trillion bill that Trump said he was going to veto, and then suddenly said no, he's going to sign it.
Actually, his reasons for vetoing are kind of hilarious. Well, hilarious to watch because some of the conservatives who supported him are freaking out about it because he's supporting it, or he threatened to veto it because they didn't take care of DACA, the Dreamers.
If you're listening to this and you're a Republican, and you're still a Republican today, and you're not changing your voter registration by Monday morning, then you just aren't paying attention to what
5D
your party
chess,
just did.
John.
Huh?
5D chess.
5D chess?
Yeah. Oh, you ever seen that? Oh, that Trump's playing 4D chess. Trump's it's just a strategy. You're not seeing the whole thing.
Oh.
Oh, you never seen? Oh. Obviously, you haven't been in enough Facebook arguments.
Yeah, no, I try to. I'm trying to tone them down because they're just the same argument
all caps.
every time. All
You liberals don't understand what he's doing. He's playing 4D chess. He's a brilliant strategist, and you're just not seeing what he's doing. And like he's just holding out and saying these things so he could get funding for the wall. Well, he got funding for a fence, which. Yeah. Surprise, guys! That was already funded. Yeah. It was already there. Obama asked for funding for a fence because Obama's also the worst.
Well, I mean, we're not here to bash Trump or anything, but I grew up downstate. Okay, I grew up knowing about this guy from the early '80s onward. And this guy is just the richest turd floating in the bowl, right? And if you can't carry your own hometown in an election, then there's something wrong there. I mean, if your hometown people know they can't trust you, then the rest of the country should have woke up to that. And unfortunately, it's taking some people way, way longer than others because they seem to think that Trump is, this super successful businessman, and he's not. Just because he has money doesn't mean he's a successful businessman. His business methodologies are highly questionable. And morale...
sure.
I mean, the guy... in a nutshell, the guy turns around. This is his big business plan. I'm going to summarize the art of the deal for you in a few sentences. He hires somebody to do a job. The guy goes ahead and does the job. When he goes to get paid, he turns around. Trump says, "No, I'm not paying you that." The guy says, "Well, then I'm going to take you to court." Trump goes, "Fine." Trump's lawyers delay it and drag it out so long in court that the guy, the contractor that did the work, can no longer sustain the court.
Sure. That's how it goes.
And then he has to settle for pennies on the dollar. This is the art of the deal. This is what Trump does.
Well, yeah, and I guess I guess the point of that is don't trust him. That whatever he says, he's just doing it in the hopes of like being able to manipulate things to fit his situation. Mm-hmm. Like when he's like, "Oh, someone forced me to sign the bill." Like, dude, no, you're the president of the United States. No one forced you to sign this omnibus bill. It didn't happen, and this bill that got pushed through very quickly without the opportunity for senators to be able to read it.
Properly read it at that.
Yeah.
2,235 pages?
Yeah, and they had like 48 hours to read it. Go check out Rand Paul's Twitter. He's tearing it up. It's great. But not great. But that's the point, is just when it comes to, at least for me, like, because I came from the Republican side, I can't trust them anymore. That people have become so tribal in the GOP that like they've totally lost the ideology that underpinned the reasons why I was interested in their party in the first place, and that's again fiscal responsibility and. I was less on the social freedom side initially, and now I'm pretty strongly there. But nonetheless, like that libertarian wing of the GOP. I like Rand Paul on his good days, but man, and Justin Amash and Thomas Massey, but they're just not able to exert enough influence over the party to be able to stop this stuff.
Yeah, it's if this omnibus does not show Republicans that they have been betrayed, I don't know what you need. I mean,
you need a third party.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Like, it really, like if you're in the Republican Party and you care about some of these issues, then if you care about fiscal responsibility, if you care about defunding Planned Parenthood too, like if that's your thing, they did that. They funded Planned Parenthood. If you care about trying to not intervene everywhere in the world all at once and be the world's policeman, if you care about just trying to restrain and shrink, or at least stabilize the growth of government.
How about stop giving money away to other countries and start building our bridges here?
Yeah, right. I mean, is
that so hard of a concept?
No, we're just. the way we spend money doesn't make sense to most of us. And so if you really want the GOP to do something about that, you can go and try to get involved with that party. And I got to tell you, I've tried that route. And what happens is you end up getting sucked into like supporting the same bad candidates because you're hoping that eventually you will one day be able to influence the decision making and hope you don't lose your soul in the process. Or you do, what I'm doing now, and you can go to our convention today at noon at Romig's for the Monroe County Libertarian Party.
Yeah, at least you get to meet. You can meet a few people. You can ask a few questions. You can get a feel for us. See what we're really about. We're not a bunch of fringe kooks. Although every group has their fringe kooks.
Yeah. No, and like I said, even if you're not like a libertarian, you're just interested in third parties generally, come talk to us. We'll talk to you about the process because New York State has a really interesting way of doing things in terms of fusion ballots and whether or not that's a good option, and we can discuss that if we want.
My buddy that I flipped, that coworker of mine, this guy Scott, and he signed up for the Libertarian Party. He left the Republican Party because of the stuff going on, and he likes our message better. And he turned around and he was so shocked that the Libertarian Party was not listed on the voter registration form, that he actually had to put other and write in Libertarian. And right then and there, he knew right then that they're trying to keep us down.
Yeah.
That we have a message and they're trying to keep us down. Because he was looking at some of the parties that were listed on there, and he was saying, I haven't even heard of half of these parties.
Yeah. Well, hey, we'll take a break real quick, and then when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about why that is, because of New York State's interesting laws. So we'll talk about third parties a little bit more. And
I want to talk about Cardi B.
Okay, and we'll talk about Cardi B. Okay, we'll be back in just a few minutes. See you after a break. Okay, welcome back. You are listening to Outside the Echo Chamber on Rochester Free Radio, WRFC 106.3 FM. It's the Liberty Talk Hour with Kevin Wilson and Sean Phelan. Sean, who is that? Who are we playing there?
That was, let's see, Chris, Matt, Rachel, James, and... the last guy. He's the keyboardist.
Sean,
it's Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad, the local guys, doing On the Moon, one of my favorites off of the Slow Down album, and I'm telling you, it's like their best work ever. So.
Oh, great. Good choice.
Aaron's the guy.
Aaron's the other guy? Okay, I have no idea.
I knew I could name them all.
Nice. Good job. All right, so we're before the break, we were talking about third parties a bit, and I had mentioned this thing called fusion voting, and what that is.
Yeah.
So what that is in New York State, and we're one of two states that still do this, is that as a candidate, you're able to appear on multiple ballot lines, right? So if you ever go into the voting booth and you see whoever the
is that why like Lovely Warren was on the Democratic line, she appeared on like the working families line, and so that's what you're talking
exactly about. Right. So yeah, when you see what typically ends up happening is like you got the Democrats and they'll appear on the Working Families Party line, and then they got like a new Vandy line last gubernatorial election called the Women's Equality line, and then the Republicans, the Conservative Party typically gives their ballot line to Republicans. Independence Party, usually they go with whoever they think the winner's going to be, but not always.
Can I interject there? People need to be aware. There is a thing called the Independence Party, which if you think you're registering as an independent, you may actually be accidentally signing up for the Independence Party.
Yeah.
So take note of that, people.
So that's a good point. So
that's a scam they did.
If you don't want to be a part of a political party, you want to mark yourself as a blank. That's what it is. Yeah. So like the independents, if you put that line, then you're enrolling with the Independence Party, which actually has some local roots with Tom Golisano way back when. Yeah. When he wanted to run for governor back in the 90s.
Oh, so he like created his own party? Or
yeah, and that's how it got started. And they've had an interesting history of like supporting, typically establishment candidates, but at least in my mind. But they did support Gary Johnson in 2016.
Oh, then they're okay.
Yeah, well, they totally botched it. But
yeah, well,
they
So
nominated the
Gary.
wrong elections.
Oh, no.
the wrong electors.
Oh no.
They didn't put us on the ballot. So we split the vote amongst ourselves. But anywho, so that's why. And then there's also, it started out in 2014 as the Stop Common Core Party, and now it's called the Reform Party
Oh, okay.
in New York
That's what
State.
happened.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, Rob Astorino's folks got the ballot line under Stop Common Core. And then as soon as the election happened, they switched it over to the Reform Party.
I was watching the recent Reform Party debate for with
The gubernatorial debate for New York State.
right with Larry Sharp there and the other two candidates, and I mean it was just so atypical. I mean, of course they had the black preacher. You know, he was one of the people. You know, that's just so typical, and the other the business owner Republican. You know,
Yeah, that was-
and it was like classic, absolute classic Democrats and Republicans. Same old, same old, same old. And Larry came in there and absolutely slayed them. These two other guys were given their generic, I'm not answering the question directly kind of thing, and they're polished and practiced politician answers that we've been getting for years. And then Larry was getting asked the same questions, and he was answering the questions and citing examples and giving ideas out. And it was like so refreshing to hear it, and he just slayed them.
Yeah, no, it was a great debate to listen to. So I think that's on Larry's Facebook page, Larry Sharp for New York. So that's worth watching because, I mean, that's going to be an interesting thing because I don't know if Larry's going to go for the Reform Party line, but he did want to participate in the debate. And then if Joel Giambra, the other guy doing that, who was trying to run as a Republican and dropped out, there may be a few independent candidates in the race this time, which will make things interesting,
right,
and challenging.
Yeah, the more people are running, the more options, the better things are for us.
I generally prefer more options,
Yeah.
and so, but that's worth watching. And so again, in New York State, you're able to pick up a couple different ballot lines. Sometimes, I mean, it's a little bit weird. So you know, I know people have asked you before, like, oh, I don't see Libertarian Party on the boxes that I can check when I'm registering to vote. And the reason why that is because Libertarian Party is not an official party in New York State because we're technically not yet. We're technically an independent nominating body. And the way a party becomes an official party is that in a gubernatorial election, so every 4 years,
like the one we're having in November.
Like the one we're having in November, yep. If a party's candidate for governor gets 50,000 votes, that party gets ballot access, which means that it's included on the voter registration form, and the way it gets on the ballot each election cycle is a little bit different. So right now, for the Republicans, the Democrats, the Working Families Party, the Green Party, all these folks, they have to collect signatures from their party members, people who are enrolled with the party, in order to get on the ballot. So they have to collect a certain percentage of signatures from people in their party. Whereas the Libertarian Party, because we don't have that ballot access, we have to collect a higher number of signatures, but they can be from any voter.
It'd be like 15,000 or something, isn't it?
So for a statewide race, so for Larry Sharp, the gentleman we had on the show the other day, to get on the ballot, he's going to have to collect 15,000 signatures. So, and really, when you're doing these things, if you've ever done an independent nominating petition, you really have to get double that, because a lot of the signatures are going to get thrown out for all sorts of reasons. And so really you need 30,000 signatures.
Apparently our listener in Oregon was just informing me that they are a party out there and they do have ballot access. Must be nice.
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of states do. So a lot of it varies from state to state, right? So in New York State, our requirement is 50,000 votes. In New Mexico, they had to get like 1% of a statewide race. So New Mexico Libertarian Party now has ballot access, and they're running quite a few candidates out there because Gary Johnson did pretty well in the 2016 election. Washington State missed it by like a couple thousand votes. Places like Ohio make it darn near impossible. They have to collect like 50,000 votes. Governor Kasich out there just total jerk the third parties. Shut it down, rigged the system in his favor.
No, I heard something, and I don't know if it's a rumor or what, and maybe you can clarify it for me. But I heard that in the last election, the gubernatorial election that we had, that we came close, but they were told to stop counting ballots.
No. You're thinking of 2010.
2010.
So 2014, the LP's candidate got his butt kicked. Like he got like 15,000 votes. It was not even close. Okay. In 2010, when Warren Redlick was running, he got over 49,000 votes, but they didn't count the mail-in ballots. They didn't count the absentee ballots. So if they had counted the absentee ballots towards that total, likely the Libertarian Party would have had a ballot access at least between 2010 and 2014, which could have fundamentally shifted how the party operates in the state.
No, those absentee ballots are usually put in by like military personnel when they're abroad.
Yeah, oftentimes.
So they took the military votes and basically tossed them out.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, that's what the state does. I mean, that's the unfortunate part is that your absentee ballots, like unless election officials determine that the race is closed, a lot of times they won't count them, or at least not right away. Sometimes they'll count them afterwards, and you'll get them a few weeks later. But for this race, for the 2010 gubernatorial race, it was really unfortunate because, yeah, if they had counted those votes, the Libertarian Party would have had ballot access, and the LP sued too to try to overturn that ruling, and it took several years to even get a result. By the time we would have actually gotten a result for that, it was time for the next election anyhow, and it wouldn't have mattered. So the decision came in like 2014 sometime. So I'd have to look that up, whatever it was.
So,
but
as you can see, we're close. We're definitely close, and the powers that be are trying to keep us down. So that means we're a threat, and we got something positive that they don't want to, they don't want to lose their power about, And I think if we could rally people and get the message out there, I think we can get enough votes, and then then you'll start seeing Libertarian Party candidates get that, because once you get the ballot access, don't you get you have to be on the stage also during debates? Isn't that true?
No, not necessarily.
Oh, okay. How does that work?
Right. So that's the funny part about debates is basically it depends on who's hosting the debate, right? So in 2014 and 2010, so in 2010 they had all of the candidates on the stage, and I mean all of them.
Yeah, I remember.
So from Cuomo and Palladino to good old Jimmy McMillan. Oh, yeah. Rent is too damn high.
Rent is too damn high.
Yeah. Yep. Good old Jimmy.
And then, wait a minute, what's Vernon? What Vernon?
What do you think of Vermin Supreme?
Vermin Supreme.
No, he wasn't running here. All right, listen. If you ever have an opportunity to listen to Vermin Supreme give a political speech, absolutely do it.
And his pony economics.
Yeah, no, it's worth it. He is honestly he came to the New York State Convention in 2016, and we let him speak. He gave his speech, and we're just cracking up the whole time. The guy who was next to him was mad.
Oh,
he's
really?
like, oh yeah, no, he was so mad. He's like, why am I up here with this joker? We're like, this is entertainment. We're not taking this guy seriously,
yeah.
But he was great. It just, I don't know. I love his style of political mockery, and
it's like he's the greatest comedian that nobody's heard of.
Yeah, and he's just I know he doesn't particularly agree with libertarian politics in real life, but he was a hoot to hang out with at the LP convention in New York and down in Orlando. He was at both.
He was at Park Point one time. I almost went to see him.
Yeah, I know he was down this way, but because he's a folk singer when he's not running for president.
Really?
Yeah. But
speaking of singers, okay, I'm sorry I'm going to shift on you here.
Yeah, no.
But speaking of singers, there is a rap artist named Cardi B, and that's Cardi and the letter B.
Right.
I've never heard of her before.
Me neither. Okay. So we're actually up for a break anyway.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna take a break, enjoy some music, Google Cardi B so you know what the heck we're talking about, because that's what I'm going to be doing during the break, so I can actually talk about that.
Yeah, what she said we can't play over the air.
Yeah,
but
so
it's worth a listen to. So
yeah, you got to look it up. So
it's very short. She gives like this little 40-second, maybe 1 minute little rant, and she is like now becoming like the libertarian goddess for what she just said.
I don't know if I'd take it that far, but yeah, no, it's got some people's attention. But anyway, so we'll be back. You're listening to Outside the Echo Chamber. We'll be back in just a few moments.
I got nothing.
All right, yeah, there we go.
I forgot how short like old songs used to be.
Yeah, no, it was only a couple minutes long. Yeah, we're just chatting away here. All right, so welcome back to Outside the Echo Chamber on Rochester Free Radio, WRFZ 106.3 FM. You want to talk about Cardi B?
Yeah.
Who the heck's Cardi B? I don't even know.
It's hard to tell, but I think she's like half black, half Puerto Rican, but she's totally like street, and just the way she talks, she's talking to you like this, and she wants to know what you all doing with my money. I pay 40% in taxes, and what you doing with my money? my
All right.
there's still New York's the dirtiest city in the country, and there's still rats on the trains, and you ain't doing nothing. What are you doing with my money? What are you doing with my money? But she doesn't say it exactly like that. There's a few more colorful words she uses, but yeah, and she just she hits a nail on the head. She wants to see receipts. She wants to see where the money's going. She's asking. I don't even think she's asking. She's demanding transparency, and, she wants to see, an itemization of where our tax money is going. Because, if she's paying 40%, I'd want to know where almost half my money's going too,
Yeah, so would the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we all would.
So, yeah, so right now she's just like, she's hitting the nail on the head, and for those of you that did see the very short rant of hers, it's perfect. It's just perfect in every way, shape, and form. I mean, even down to the accent, as far as I'm concerned. It's just, hey, I'm a regular person, and I'm paying 40% in taxes, and I want to know where my money's going. What are you doing with my money? It's perfect.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I hope she has a very successful career. And if not, we could use her.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not really familiar with exactly what she does. All I saw was something on Reason about how she's the libertarian hero we didn't know we had.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, if you can find her on Reason Magazine or YouTube, or
she's on Twitter, website. She's on Instagram, she's on all them places.
But yeah, you'll see the rant eventually if you. Yeah. It's not too hard to find.
I was trying to find it on. It wasn't on Twitter. She's mostly just talking about being mad about negative comments in Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah, don't even get me started on Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Hey, we're getting one soon.
Yeah. I think I might go protest it too.
You know, protest Chick-fil-A? Oh, God, their chicken is so good, though.
I don't care.
And so are their waffle fries. They're amazing.
I don't care. You don't put religion and your food together and try to exercise it against people.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know. It's not.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like it.
No.
As a matter of fact, if like some companies, like I know that we have companies that are Christian this, Christian that. That's their name, Christian Roofing or whatever,
Yeah.
I will never, ever, 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 ever call them, because that is just a ploy. So you're trying to use somebody's religious beliefs to get their business? Oh, come on.
I mean, that's your business, right? You can do what you want. To me, it's like if they have good customer service, they're great. I mean, if they're legitimately funding some bad stuff, I get that. Although when I was doing like political training back in 2012, when it was like back when this controversy first broke, so. It was a conservative group I was training with, so naturally they bought Chick-fil-A like every day. Like, I don't agree with this, but man, these chicken sandwiches are amazing.
I'm sure the food is quite good, but
it's already paid for. It's here. It's in my hands.
Oh, well, yeah, that's different. I wouldn't spend my money.
Yeah, this organization's money was being spent on it.
Yeah, I never said I wouldn't eat their food. I'm just not going to give them my money. Big difference.
All right,
but
So Sean, if you buy him Chick-fil-A, he'll eat it. He's like, it's all right here.
Well, there's a couple other things I want to cover before we end up today because we kind of dragged out here. But everybody, I'm sure people saw that Slaughter had the funeral here and everything. Matter of fact, it was only a few blocks from where we are right now, and not far at all. And it was amazing how many of the politicians, like 20 members of Congress, came, and then we had Bill, Slick Billy, and
then Hillary Clinton and
Hillary.
Yeah. So all the celebs are there.
Yeah, but it just
except Obama, he wasn't there.
I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it as my personal opinion. This is a disclosure.
Man. Okay, so you're gonna say something.
This
ridiculous.
Is how you know the war on terror is a fake, propagated by our government.
Okay.
Because you have supposedly a bunch of radical Muslim groups that are in central New York, in the woods, training to kill us all. So I've been told, and I've seen some videos that. Anyway. But talk about some soft targets. I mean, they could have done something. If you notice, they never go. My point is simply this: you notice they never go after the politicians. I mean, if Rand Paul can get his butt beat on his front lawn by his neighbor, but you're trying to tell me that they got to go after people, innocent people. No.
Oh, sure. Well, okay.
No. That's the American people being played with. Because when I start seeing bombs going off, at politicians' doorsteps, now you're talking about a war on terror. But no.
Right. Okay. So just.
All right. I'm sorry.
Remember it's definitely not a soft target. There's Secret Service folks everywhere, and they're probably going to come knock on your door now.
Please.
But no.
I told my boss I might need some time. I might need some time. I might need to go early. And he's like, why? I go, I got some old tires I think I need to burn on Brooks Avenue.
but anywho, so there's that. It's also
to the airport.
I want get into it.
And I'm joking.
I know you're joking. I know you're joking.
So other people out there don't think I'm joking.
But it is actually like illegal to protest. Within something within like 1,000 feet or something of any event where there's like Secret Service protection. I'll have to look up the exact law. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, basically they push you way back. There's a law that got passed in like 2013 or something like that. Makes it. Yeah, basically if it's a person with Secret Service protection, so former president, current president, presidential candidates, there's a lot of restrictions on where you're able to protest. So there's, I avoided that area yesterday, but I'm sure it's really difficult to get in and out. And also, Sean, everything you say on this show is just your opinion. There's no filter with you. You're giving qualifiers now for that compared to like all the other stuff. Like I'm not approving any of your opinions.
Why do you
think? Do you think I tell him what to say? Do you think I can tell him what to say? No. Absolutely not. No, I tell him, Sean, don't talk about this. And he's like, all right, I'm going to talk about this now.
Why do you think I asked you on the show, man? You got to be a balance for me, I'd be completely out of control without you sitting here. But all right, there's one more thing I want to talk about.
All
right. For those of you who aren't familiar with this story, okay. Well, first of all, we're not going to talk about the march and the students and everything like that because that's just been so played out by the media. It's not even.
Oh yeah, we spent the last like 4 episodes talking about it. Yeah.
But what I want to do is I want to talk to you about what happened in Scotland.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
In Scotland, a guy who goes by the name of Count Dankula.
Oh yeah, that guy.
He has a girlfriend who has a little pug dog. And the girlfriend thinks the pug dog is just the cutest thing that's ever happened on the face of the earth. So he decides that he wants to do something funny that's going to really tick his girlfriend off. So he begins to train the dog to try to give this little Nazi salute, which is basically just the dog lifting his paw up and sticking it in front of him. It's almost like, when you try to like shake hands with a dog,
Yeah.
Except the dog, puts his paw out straight. That's all. So it's not like he's lifting it up or anything like that. He's just sticking his paw out. However, The cue that the guy is using, to get the dog to do it, is gas the Jews.
Right. Yeah. So he started doing that.
And it's a complete joke. It's done as a joke. It's a somewhat tasteless joke. But it's definitely offensive if you're a Nazi.
Yeah.
But this guy was just arrested, tried, and convicted of a hate crime.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. His sentencing is supposed to be in April.
Yeah. He's going to spend some time in jail. Which is interesting. Yeah.
I just... And for those of you that are saying, oh, well, he's teaching a dog how to do a Nazi salute. Do you realize you've just legislated morality? You're agreeing for the legislation of what is funny and what is not. You're legislating taste. We've already been through this with the Supreme Court regarding pornography.
Right. Well, this is in Great Britain, by the way. So this is not in the United States. Right. Just to clarify, because they are...
It is Scotland.
Yeah, they are...
and they do have that hate crime speech law thing that they put together, but I mean...
The Europeans are not... They generally are not as pro free speech as the United States.
Yeah, but I mean, when you start talking about, when you start talking about restricting people's abilities to make a joke.
Yeah. No, if making a bad joke were against the law, this show would be off the air.
We had that comedian back in the 60s. What was his name? Very controversial guy in the 60s. Oh.
Ooh, George Carlin?
No.
I don't think it's 7 words.
He actually, yeah, I think George Carlin's great. He's a classic. No. He paved the way for Carlin, and it paved the way for, all these other, raunchy comedians. And for the life of me, I can't remember his name, but, he was arrested for jokes that he was doing on stage that were completely raunchy and he was found not guilty.
Well, yeah, no. There used to be a lot of obscenity laws in regards to, and comedians would get arrested all the time for breaking them.
Thank you to my Oregon listener. It's Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce is who you're thinking of, yeah.
Yes, Lenny Bruce. So yeah. Oh, we forgot to tell them they can text us.
Oh yeah.
You can text us.
You text us in the next minute and a half. No, I guess next time, or comment on our Facebook page,
or just come down and see us today at 12 noon at Romig's.
Yeah,
for our convention.
Come do that. Come talk to us. Come yell at us. Yeah. Have a beer with us.
Something.
The beer's super cheap there. It's great.
Yeah. Tell me that I'm a Nazi because I supported the dog. I mean, I'm good with it.
I don't think you're supporting the dog. I think you're
supporting the dog.
Oh, just the dog. Screw Count Denkenstein or whatever. Dankula. That's the guy.
The dog has a right to raise his paw if he wants to.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point, because it is a serious thing. We shouldn't be sending someone to jail, and essentially using violence against this person for making a bad joke, because this isn't necessarily a guy who's supporting white supremacy and National Socialism and things like that. I have no idea where he actually stands.
He's not. No, he actually states right there. He goes, "I'm not a Nazi." He goes, "I'm making fun of him," and he says it right there.
Yeah, and so he just wanted to take this cute little because I saw the video, and he just wanted to take this cute little pug and have it do something horrifying for comedic effect. And okay, so you could say it's tasteless, that's terrible, whatever. But should this guy be going to jail for it?
No. But look, he broke the law. There is a law over there, and he broke the law. Okay, and you break the law, you got to pay the penalty. Give the man community service, for crying out loud. Sitting in a jail cell for teaching a dog a stupid joke.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Here.
No. And there are people promoting similar types of laws over here too, and that's it hasn't happened yet, but it could.
Folks,
and that's we got to be vigilant.
If they start legislating free speech and morality and taste, if they start trying to tell us taste, then it's time for the revolution.
Hey, we're in a lot of trouble. But hey, we got to go. Our time is up this week. You're listening to Outside the Echo Chamber. Thanks for being with us. We will be back next Saturday at 9 a.m.
And I hope to see you at Romig's.
Yeah, Romig's at noon if you want to come hang out with us today. We will see you next week.